Get 'em.
Welcome, folks. Y'all come on in and make yourself at home. This here, well, this is the Rolling Thunder Podcast, your home for all things Rolling Thunder. This episode is brought to you by Mossy Oak, because everything is better in Bottomland. Kent Cartridge, quality matters, performance counts. Shen Gear, waterfowl gear that is built better. And Benelli USA, dominate the skies.
All righty. Welcome to this episode of the Rolling Thunder Podcast. I'm here with Mr. Kyle Wojociechowski, all the way from... Kyle, where are you sitting at today?
I'm sitting in Okarche, Oklahoma right now.
Okarche?
Yes, sir. In for Oklahoma, Arapahoe, and Cheyenne.
Okay, so for somebody that has never been to the Midwest or been to Oklahoma, like where exactly is that in relation to things?
So I'm northwest outside of Oklahoma City by about 20, 25 miles.
Okay.
Central in the state. That's close to being dangerously near where there's trees as you can be without having them.
Okay.
So,
yeah, just enough to smell them maybe, but
that's right. Yeah.
Man, my mom's side of the family, they're all Oklahomans.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All of it.
Okies from Muskogee. They're from Muskogee. So yeah. So we used to go out there before they all transplanted to Florida. We used to go out there and visit every now and then. But man, Kyle, how's your summer going?
Hot. For lack of better terms, it's hot. Keeping busy though, trying to pass the time.
So what does passing the time look like? We're going to get into some of the guidance stuff that you do here in just a minute, but the off season for Kyle, what does that look like?
So I own a lawn fertilizing and spraying business. So that keeps me pretty wrapped up for the most part. Just spraying, fertilizing residential yards, some commercial, don't mow or nothing like that. And then along with that, I also have a power washing, exterior cleaning, staining business as well. So they kind of offset each other, and they're both pretty strictly warm season jobs to allow me to have all the time I could ever want for duck season.
All right. So opportunity for a shameless plug for if there's anybody local to you there in the Midwest, how do they find you, what you do?
I think I have a Facebook for both of them. I am so bad about like self-marketing. Like, I've got my repeat customers, like my lawn business, I've got those, they're all on routine. And like my pressure washing, sometimes I'll post pictures of like before and afters because I have like OCD pretty bad. And I like to see the side-by-side comparisons.
Yeah.
But I just don't like post there super routinely. But I do have social medias for both of them.
All right. What are those?
Oh, gosh. My pressure washing is KW Pressure Washing Services. And then my lawn spraying is Okie Oasis Lawn Services.
Oh, heck yeah. All right. Well, if you're there around Oklahoma, give Kyle a shout. He'll get you squared. He'll get you squared away, at least while it's warm.
That's right.
Don't try to find him when it cools off because he's got stuff to do.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. So we talked about it for just a second before we started, but you're not originally from Oklahoma. You said you're a transplant, right?
I am a transplant. I've been here for, let's see. We moved here in 16, I think it was. 16 or 16. Born and raised in Southern Illinois, though.
Okay.
My whole life until we came here.
Yeah, the old former, I don't know if they still call themselves the goose capital of the world, but
I'm sure there's some guys that probably, still try to hang their hats on that.
Yeah.
The same guys that like to hang out in gas station parking lots and talk about high school football.
Fair. That's very fair. So, I know you're all about chasing ducks. Do you have any of that goose grinder in you just by default? Is it a genetic thing coming from Illinois? I say
it's so situational. Like anything with wings, like kind of gets me excited, but like if you could be like, here's a jam up goose hunt and here's a subpar duck hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to like look once or even twice at the goose hunt. I'm going straight for the ducks. But like up in Canada, like guiding up there, we're primarily in like a spec region and ducks, but sometimes we get in on the bigs or we'll do like cleanup shoots to finish out our dark limit on bigs. And it's fun. Like when you get them to do it right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like I'm well more versed in duck.
Sure.
I guess that makes sense, right? So like, I like my odds a lot better at being able to kill a duck than a goose as far as understanding everything they're doing, why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not just right, I get over all the geese really quick.
Man,
so it's fun. It's fun change up every now and then.
Oh yeah. We get to shoot some locals, like early in the year. There was a couple years in a row I went out to Kansas with an outfitter out there. And I mean, shooting them over dry field was an absolute blast. And there's something in me that I think could very easily make the switch to being a goose guy if you had them. And maybe it's just because it's only been a few times that it's been like right and like bigs coming in low and like when they hit the ground in front of the depot or in front of the layouts, like and you feel it, like
it is cool.
Yeah. And like I said, it may wear off. I don't know. We're gonna try to get after them here early season.
I drove past a pond actually today that probably had about like 70 resident geese on it, and I was like, man, that would be cool, but they're probably not going to do what you want them to do.
Sure.
And so I was like, yeah, well, and that shows you how much I don't care because I also don't care about the deer, and I was heading to go work on deer food plots.
Okay.
So I'm like, what am I doing here? Let's go north or something, please.
Yeah. So, what's the deer situation there in Oklahoma? Y'all got some big ones?
I mean, if you're a deer guy, yeah. There's big deer out here. I don't chase them. I've shot one deer out here. Yeah. And it was like purely just for like a change up. I went with my cousin and we sat one day. We were there like 45 minutes, which is ironically how I shot my deer this past year was like also like a 45-minute deal. I get bored pretty easy.
Yeah.
It was, I guess, like a management deer, they say.
Okay.
At that time, the one I shot here in, I think it was 2019, was the biggest deer I'd ever shot. And I don't know what he scored, maybe low 30s. But like it was cool for a second. And like my cousin, he's all jazzed about the deer.
Yeah.
He was like, pretty cool, wasn't it? And I was like, I mean, sure.
I guess. Yeah.
We did. I've got there's a buddy here that lives in the town north of me. That dude, he feeds deer year round and he grows giants and he's always got giant deer on camera. And you see it all across the state. But it's, I don't know, they say duck hunting's like a rich man's game. Like big deer hunting, that's a big money game. And I like to joke with people and tell them it's easy to kill a deer. And you can kill any deer pretty easy, but like the guys that actually target a deer and hunt them, that's a lot of time, effort. I mean, I don't have the drive in me to do that.
Yeah. My dad used to go some, like when I was growing up, I did not enjoy deer hunting. Just there really wasn't anything about it that I found enjoyable. Felt like I was always cold. You had to be quiet, had to be worried about how you smelled. And I don't know, just like none of it was enjoyable. And nowadays, I mean, everybody's making their deer their pets. They've got so many cell cameras out and it's like, oh, well, Billy Joe's that feeder number 3 today, Yeah,
he'll be here at this time. By the way, Spence just texted me and said, I'm ready, but y'all are going to have to tell me how to dial in.
Okay. Well, we'll see if we can get him squared away.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, boss?
Just crashing cars and calls.
Oh, shoot. You all right?
Oh, yeah. I hadn't crashed anything yet. I'm just driving down the interstate, one leg and one eye, and trying to figure out how to make the audio get on my phone. Keep talking.
All right, we'll keep it going. Anyway, so we've been talking deer here the past few minutes. Kind of talking
geese. Really missed
deer and geese. We're talking about the stuff no one cares about up front. Man, Kyle, you said you had a story about that deer you shot last year. Oh, this is you said a little deer, right?
Well, the one I shot this past year was decent. Biggest one I shot. I think I don't remember exactly. That's how much I don't really care. He was like a high 30s, low 40s 8-pointer. But so one of the guys that guides with us at SEMO, he's got a farm just south of us. And so me and Lane, it was during our season split the way it worked, and we're bored. And we go into this hardware store, or run down the deer aisle, and they've got these 2 orange ski masks, full head ski masks. And we're like, let's go deer hunting. Because the past few years we went somewhere else to try and shoot some ducks that was while we were in Split. And so we call, Shane's like, yeah, y'all can shoot deer hunt somewhere here. Well, we asked Galen, and Galen's like, yeah, y'all come deer hunt on my farm. We can go deer hunt. Well, I told him all the details prior. I'm like, hey, I got to catch a plane late this morning, and I'm going back to Oklahoma for a day. Long story short, so we could pick out our Christmas tree and drive back home for Thanksgiving. So we go to deer hunt, and we get there that morning, and Galen's like, we're going to go here, here, here. And we're like, Galen, we really don't care. You can stick us together or whatever. Well, Lane doesn't want to go in the dark by himself, so he stays at the cabin and hunts off the porch bed. I go to the stand. We're there like 10 minutes, and there's no deer. Granted, I mean, we literally had just sat down, and there's squirrels everywhere. So we're like ragging Galen about it. We tell him he's got a squirrel farm, no deer, whatever. He's like, give it some time. And I was like, I would leave and go eat breakfast right now. That's how much I'm not invested in this. And it's probably like 35 minutes into it, I hear a deer. And I look over my shoulder, and it's a spike. And the plan all along was to shoot the first 4 legal deer that we could, because we just didn't care. And I drew down on this spike, and I was like, man, I've got to leave in like 15 minutes. I'm not going to shoot that. I'll just pretend like I never saw a deer. Well, he kept looking nervous behind him. And all of a sudden, I can see this deer walking through the thicket. Never could see what he was. I could tell he had a rack. And I was like, all right, I'll shoot that deer. I shoot him. Drops right there. We end up going down there. It's the deer that Galen's been targeting. He's, it's a good deer. And I mean, I'm excited for a minute, whatever. Well, long story short, we come back after I go to home for get our Christmas tree and everything. And Galen's like, look at this text. And I was like, what is it? Well, it's his neighbor. And he's got a picture of this deer in velvet. And he's like, man, have you seen this deer? I've been hunting real hard and haven't seen him anywhere or whatever. And I was like, dang it, Galen, that is my deer, huh? He was like, yeah, it is. I was like, let me see your phone. So I text the guy a picture of me, hero shot holding that deer. And I was like, yeah, I have seen it. It looks a lot like this one, don't it? Well, the guy texts back, and he was all mad, because that was the only deer he'd been hunting. And I was like, whatever, we'll just let it go. Well, then we go back the next day because Lane still had the deer hunt. And we come over the hill, and the guy's leaving his farm. And he's like, we run into each other, and he's like, oh, y'all out here deer hunting on Galen? And yeah, yes, sir. He's like, y'all see any tonight? No. He's like, I heard a pretty good one got killed there the other day. And I was like, yes, sir, I shot that deer. And he was like, oh, no kidding. He's like, that's pretty awesome. It's a big deer, huh? And I was like, I mean, yeah, he's okay. He's like, I don't really deer hunt.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't deer hunt? He's like, man, I bet you do now after that. And I was like, I bet I don't. And he was like, do what? And I was like, man, it was cool for like a second, but like, I'm fine with it, whether I kill another one or not. You thought like it wasn't intentional, but it was like just being a truthful, honest person. I guess I just deflated him when I hit that. Like he had been targeting that deer, and then for me to come in and hunt it for 35 minutes and kill it.
And to kill it and to not care about it. Like, that's the kicker.
I mean, I care. It was a cool memory. Like, I grew up deer hunting in Southern Illinois. Like, that's where I got my start, was with my grandpa, but it just never really got me excited. It was just something to do. So it's cool to kind of sit there, whatever, and watch the world wake up, but I could take it or leave it, honestly. So, but yeah, no, that's pretty funny stuff. That guy, he was too hot.
All right, so
how big was the deer?
If I remember right, I think he ended up going like 143 as an 8-pointer. I mean, he's a good deer. He's a good deer for sure, especially for a deer that I shot not even knowing what he was. Like
143-inch 8-pointer hurts people's feelings.
Yes. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes.
The orange mask picture turned out like. Yeah, they turned out pretty good.
It's a whole move now. So I guess I got to try and shoot another one with the mask. Maybe it's the mask that's lucky.
So to not really care about deer, and like you said, you were on the tail end of the goose grinder, Southern Illinois goose capital movement. What got you so hooked on ducks? Like, was your family big duck hunters? Like, what was it for you that got you bit?
So like I don't come from like a big hunting family. Like outdoorsman, whatever. Like I remember vaguely like growing up going to bass fishing tournaments with my dad, and he never was a hunter. And my grandpa, he would deer hunt. Like he had a good farm. What's really crazy is my grandpa didn't even turkey hunt. I didn't turkey hunt until a handful of years ago. His farm was loaded with turkeys. Like we'd see them all the time. He just kind of liked to go out in nature. He goose hunted a bunch during the big heyday, and I heard stories, and I would go there. And I mean, like he had a small call collection and still had some decoys, but it wasn't worth him, when he hunted in the late 90s when it was good, and then kind of started dying off the early 2000s. It wasn't worth it for him to go and take that time. So I'd heard the stories and liked it. And I actually got a family friend invited me to go actually like 2 days after I passed my hunter safety course. It was a youth season down at a public draw area in Southern Illinois. And I mean, it was like they made me shoot one shell at a time. Like my first duck, I had to shoot it on the water. And then I like had to slowly progress, right, to shooting them in the air, then multiple shells. And I mean, I shot my limit that first day. There was a lot of ducks there. But it was like that very first duck I shot, and it was just out of dumb luck. I'm not a purist, so don't take it that way. It was a mallard drake and more of like a buckbrushy backwater slough type area, but it was pretty closed off. I mean, but first duck I ever shot, mallard drake, leaner at the decoys, boom. And then we shot teal and everything after that. But it was like, as soon as that happened, I was like, this is it. This is what I want to base my life around. And it kind of works that way.
I wish my first hunt story, like first duck hunting story, was that cool. Mine sucks.
Oh.
I still got hooked, but mine wasn't cool. It was not shooting a greenhead in the woods.
Oh, man. That place was like, I don't know how they are now, but like youth season then would be, you go down there and every kid would get like, not like free stuff. They would get like raffle tickets, right? And they had donors they'd have pallets of shells. Kids would get their shells. They would have breakfast. They would have lunch. And this was all a free state-run hunt area.
So like the state was putting all that on.
Yeah. The
okay.
state was putting on in donors. And it was all for the kids. And it was like such a cool thing. And like it was a great place during regular season too also. But like they put this on. So it was like a whole, I guess, experience, and it helped get the kids hooked. I mean, that's where my little brother shot his first duck. I took him down there for the youth season.
Like same spot?
Yeah,
like,
same spot.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. So, I mean, it was neat. It definitely, wasn't set up to like the turkey. Or like it wasn't hard work or nothing. Like it's a cool managed area. They got boats right there that you take and go through like cut lanes into different pools and holes and all these flooded units. And it was pretty cool at the time. Like I said, it was all a free draw at that point.
Okay.
And it was pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, it's cool that the state was putting that on. Like I've seen that same kind of thing, different, WMAs or places put on by like, DU or Delta, like some NGOs putting that stuff on. But it's cool to see the state do that.
Yeah, it's weird the difference though. Like where I grew up in Illinois, almost every like state lake or wildlife unit, whatever, they'd have a daily draw. But then they also had options for walk-in hunting as well, right? So if you didn't draw in, then you still got to hunt. Like you had an option to go hunt, whether it was like main lake or part of the wildlife area would have that areas that were secluded just to walk-in hunting. You didn't have to draw. You just had to sign in, go in, and go do it all on your own. But then you go across the state, like to Missouri, like where I'm at now, and a lot of those kids, they flock to the draw, and if they don't draw in, they got to go home because they don't have those other options. Like, so we always had an option somewhere to go. Like, granted, they have other public places, but it's not like they have to move. Like, you could go to one place, you could be like, for example, you could be like, I'm going to Crab Orchard. If I don't draw in a crab, then I can go hunt the main lake, or I can hunt any of these backwater spots or these units. Whereas for like there, you go, I'm going to go hunt at this draw. I don't draw in. Well, heck, let's go home or go to some subpar lease or whatever there. So I grew up in an area that I had tons of opportunities to go. It wasn't super rich with fowl, I guess. I mean, there was some, but it wasn't crazy.
Sounds so much like Arkansas. I mean, it just really reminds me of, ample opportunities, boats provided by the government. I mean,
That's amazing. That sounds great.
Back when it was
I was being very sarcastic.
Yeah, I figured you were because Kyle described those places as well managed, and so I was like, well, that rules a lot of places out right off the rip. Not to throw shade at anybody,
I'm thinking like where'd you learn your first cuss word? Well, my dad and I walked into a hunting spot and we learned all the words in one sentence.
Yes, that's crazy. I mean, even like you go like there, like just Illinois, and then go to Missouri, and then look at Arkansas. It's like crazy how completely, vastly different they are as far as their public lands go, and they're all fairly conjoining states.
I haven't spent a whole lot of time, I mean, really anywhere in the Midwest or up north, but there's just like I don't know, just a feel of like Midwest, like being nice, like overly nice. I know like Canada gets that sometimes. I wonder if there's just a point in which it changes from like people are just nicer and then you get to Arkansas and, Alabama, Tennessee, and people are a little bit more, I don't know.
Maybe it's nicer where the hunting, I guess, success rates are lower because it's not worth getting mad about.
Okay, yeah, not quite as competitive.
Here's my theory on people's niceness. It is directly proportional to how dangerous winter is. If winter itself can kill you, people have a lot of common decency and respect. Because in my mind, my theory, like if you have a flat tire in a 3-foot blizzard, you're dead if somebody that's passing you by doesn't stop to pick you up. But like winter has never threatened to kill us down here in the deep south. So very much people are syrupy and sugar and all that, but it's all fake.
Yeah. That's a good take. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're still a ways away from getting into like some of the guidance stuff you do, but how did you get from, like you said, you moved to Oklahoma in 2015 or 16, somewhere in there. So grew up, kept duck hunting in Illinois. Do you start traveling? Do you start going to Missouri some, or what?
No, so I mean, like I said, I grew up, had all those opportunities, and as you get older and you make more friends, and your friends start driving that are, if you got older friends than you, we would just hunt every day possible. And never really traveled. We would travel during conservation season down to Missouri and try and shoot some snow geese, and it was never great. And I wish I never would have done that because that's just a big waste of time, worse than deer hunting probably. But so I just kept duck hunting. As I grew up, got out of high school, I started working in the coal mines. I worked under there for a year and a half, 2 years. I made decent money, and we would work 7 on, 2 off, 7 on, 2 off, 7 on, 3 off, right? And so I got to a point then where I was like, well, I've got okay money for my age. I'm going to lease a spot, so I always have a place I don't have to go mess with the draw. I can, if I'm working midnights, I get off, I can just go straight there, day shift, whatever, right? So I leased the spot and started hunting it. Well, the guy I leased it from, he had a outfitter, ran deer hunts, and he didn't really advertise it, but they wanted to. He would run duck hunts or goose hunts, whatever. There was geese around because he had a really good pit right there behind the mall in there. Well, it got to where he had some deer guys come in and they wanted to duck hunt, and we were killing some ducks. And so I would occasionally run some of his guys, take them. And I mean, I guess you could say that's where I started guiding, but it kind of just more so I started, I guess, networking, whatever, meeting people. I did that for a couple of years, and then it got to where my now wife and I, we were moving out here, and a guy that I had met through doing that knew a guy that guided out here, hooked me up with him, and we got out here. And I mean, it was, I jumped right into guiding as soon as we got out here. So there was no downtime between the two. And I went from hunting Southern Illinois, lakes, backwaters, you'll have some good hunts. If you kill, close to 10 with a couple buddies, you're having a heck of a day. And to then coming out here and it's geese everywhere. Mm-hmm. Ducks, most of the people out here, or with the outfit I was with, they just wanted to shoot geese. I mean, it was a little bit of a change, but
it's the most fun you've ever had.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, needless to say, I kind of transition more to taking like the smaller groups that would want to come, like private groups, and we'd go duck hunt. Like, that's what I wanted to do. I mean, it was when I got here, I'm like, this duck hunting's unreal. You can even still, I guess, you can go to a pothole that'll have 40 ducks on it. If you got enough guns, you can shoot 50 ducks off of it the next morning. I mean, they're all coming there. It's kind of anticlimactic because they're going to be there. You're not working a whole bunch of ducks, but it's a target-rich environment, that's for sure.
So was most of, like, were they shooting geese in the dry fields and then shooting ducks over, they call them something different out there, like tanks, like water tanks or?
Well, we call them just cattle ponds, really.
Okay.
Tanks kind of, you get that a little more southwest.
Okay.
But yes, the guy I got it for, we would shoot geese over peanuts, and we'd shoot ducks, dry field ducks are pretty cool. But, they can be finicky, coming out late, all that stuff, and shoot the geese when the geese are there kind of thing. But then, you go to the potholes, and that's where the ducks are. All these cattle tanks and cattle ponds, whatever you want to call it. And there's no telling what you shoot on. I mean, there's some ponds out here that I've never not hunted them. There's one that I can think of right now. I've never hunted it and not shot a redhead or a canvasback. But you don't see them anywhere else around there. It's wild. Kind of different little pockets of things out here.
Spence, sounded like you had no love for the big old grease balls. You don't like them big old honkers?
They're not shooting big old honkers. I like those big honkers. They're shooting those little bitty, mean, bad word adjectives.
when I first started, the guy that I worked for, he said, imagine taking a mallard and put him in a Canada Goose tuxedo, and that's about like how they act, but you just want to be loud and aggressive at them all the way to the ball. And it's spot on.
It's a blast to pull the trigger when they're doing it right, but nothing has ever pulled the slip on me like lessers. I mean, it just, you feel like you got them patterned, and then they all get up and go 20 miles the other direction, seems like the next day. I mean, just, I don't know. They're erratic. I think they're more like snow geese than they are ducks.
Or they get all off the roost at one time in the morning, whether somebody bumps them or not, and they might go complete opposite direction. Or you get sit and watch them trickle in the perfect, 50 to 100 packs the morning before, and then they do. I don't like them. I don't know.
I mean, I get. To me, they're a little bit like tuna fishing. Like there's so much adrenaline in. It's big boy gambling, right? Like you're putting out huge spreads, and you're hunting a group of like 150,000. And so if they all change their mind, then you go from hey, we got if you had 150,000 ducks, like 20,000 of those ducks are going to make a really dumb decision tomorrow.
Sure.
You're in good shape. But you get 150,000 geese, and they all communicate overnight and decide they're going, somewhere completely different, and you're just like, promise, guys, there was stuff here yesterday.
I'm not making it up.
Oh yeah, I've seen countless dudes be like, "Look, here's the videos from the night before." And I'm like, you shouldn't have to do that. I don't want to live in a world where that's something I need to do to have cheap insurance. Is take pictures of the birds I saw the night before.
I promise, guys. I promise.
Yeah, no sense.
I mean, I got respect for those boys. I mean, that guiding out in that part of the world, and that if that's your variables, man, that's you're signing up for a stressful job, because when those geese are in that big of a group, everybody in the world knows that they're there. There's no hiding. You're not finding a couple hundred or a couple thousand that nobody else knows about and mess with. And then on top of that, you're dealing with a critter that changes his mind more than any other critter that's ever lived on the face of the earth. Like, there ain't much predicting what they're going to do.
No.
Unless you shoot them on water. And if you shoot them on water, then every lesser snob out there will make fun of you for the next 25 years. I mean, it's a lose-lose situation.
Yes.
I need to come out there and see it. I've shot one little goose in my life, and he was with a bunch of bigs, but I just want to see it.
It's worth seeing once.
Yeah.
I mean, but
it's definitely one of those things you need to go experience. I mean, it's an experience.
Yes. That's the easy way to put it.
So how long did you chase them there in Oklahoma before you went up north?
So I worked here for 3 years, and it was no bad blood or nothing. It was just I worked here for 3 years. I didn't like the geese. I could see the writing on the wall as far as how it was changing. Right, like it to me. I tell people in the 3 years I guided here, the first year you dang near didn't even have to ask for permission, and if you asked, you didn't get the sentence out and they gave it to you. The second year, it almost became like 50-50. You know, hey, well, how much are you paying, whatever, or how many guns are you guiding? The third year, it was strictly, this is my gate, like my gate rate. Like, this is it. Like, and I could see, I mean, the influx of guides and or outfitters, air quotes, whatever you want to put around that, was just huge. It wasn't something my heart was in, and so it wasn't worth it for me to stick it out. So kind of during our season split here, I bought my dog from a trainer here. He was I think he's 11 months old when I bought him. We went out, saw him, and I was going to go hunt in Texas with a buddy. And through actually the same people that I met, they got me linked up with my outfitter out here. I'd made friends with guys back home in Southern Illinois and them also at Southeast Missouri, who had ties to SEMO Outfitters where I work now. And one of the guys there was like, "Hey kid, man, we stayed in contact, everything." He was like, "What are you gonna do with your dog?" I was like, "I'm gonna go down to Texas and hunt him for a little bit." He said, "Why don't you bring him out here and hunt him for a few days?" And I was like, "Can I?" And I kind of I knew of SEMO Outfitters from then because of the guy I knew that guided there. I mean, they always killed ducks, and I was, I grew up around a lot of the private club stuff, so that was all very intriguing to me. Managed farming for ducks, so to speak. And I was like, well, ask if I can come out. And if I can, then I'll just come down there. So he asked, Shane was like, yeah, tell him to come on, because that guy didn't have a dog. So we go down there for 2 days. First day I hop in with him and run my dog for that hunt. We have a jam up shoot. I think we shot all our ducks fairly quick. The next day we go do it again. And I was like, man, this place is cool. They've got ducks here. It's all close. I mean, you've seen it. It's all right here. It's a lodge, right? So I go home and, I had made friends with Shane and everything. And it was a little bit later that season. He was like, hey, I know you got a job out there and I know you're not going to move back, but I'm losing Forrest, which a little plug for Forrest. He was a guide there at the time, and then he left to go film for the Drurys. And he's still there. But they needed to fill Forrest's spot. He was like, would you have any interest in coming out here and guiding? And I thought about it for a second, and I talked to my wife. It didn't take me long to really be like, you know what, that's exactly what I need. I've got this dog now. All I care about is ducks. I'm going there. And I made the decision that next year I finished out my year there and told the guy I worked for, I was like, hey, I'm going to be gone next year. I'm going to chase the ducks. And he likes to still to this day say I left him to go work at the country club. Which is pretty fair comparison to what it is out here to what it is there.
So Spence and I have been able to see the place. So for anybody that hasn't seen SEMO, or maybe they don't follow them on social, tell us a little bit about the operation. They're farming for ducks, but what does that look like there in SEMO?
Yeah, so we farm for ducks, yes. Shane Garner that owns it, he is a farmer by trade. And you could sit down and talk to that guy and he'll tell you that he loves farming for crops just as much as he loves guiding for ducks, right? Those are his two passions in life, and he's found a way to work it with both of them, right? So SEMO Outfitters, our main lodge, our flagship farm, it's about 650 acres in southeast Missouri. We're not in the Boot Hill. We're just north of it, and we're actually about 2 miles or so, 3 miles from the dividing line from the middle zone and southern zone, where our lodge sits. Our lodge sits fairly in the middle of those 650 acres, and you can see pretty well everything right there. I think we have about 15, 16 spots on that farm as far as pits or blinds. We have a refuge that we have there that we don't ever hunt, don't go near it, let the ducks do their thing in there. And then we've slowly throughout the years, I say we, I mean Shane has slowly added more property off the farm, right? So at the time when I started there, we had what we call our McGee farm. You've seen it, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just right against the public ground, and it's a pretty special place, one of the places that you could kill them every single day, and kills a lot of ducks, right? And so from there, then we've added a couple other small farms, and then we added 2 or 3 years ago, Shane bought a big farm down in the Boot Hill in the South Zone, big rice farm. I think before that, a couple of years, he bought the Arkansas farm. So we've got a Northeast Arkansas farm. We've got a South Zone farm, both pretty sizable pieces. And then we've got the Middle Zone farm. So we've got a pretty broad area that we cover to allow a lot of different opportunities and options as far as having good places to hunt day in and day out for the amount of guys that we take. Mostly a corn farm. Say what you want. It's not a gimme. Just because you plant corn and put water on it doesn't mean that ducks are just going to fly in there and fall over and die. It's a different style of hunting. Sure, they're, I guess, attracted to the area of it, right? Whatever, but they get pretty smart pretty quick. We've got our South farm is a rice farm, Arkansas farm. It varies. Could be rice, could be millet. Really, it's river dependent a lot. We've got flooded timber down there as well. Our newest farm, which we got to hunt when y'all were here last year. It's mostly corn with it does have a timber unit, but it's got this big, I call it like a check mark cut out in the middle of it, and it's flooded crop ground as well in the middle of some trees. And
that was the that tree work you posted a while back. You might have was watching, right? Was that off that new piece?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, you're clearing that out a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was so like the blind we hunted in, that would be directly right in front of us, which was a lot of it wasn't clearing it for hunting, more just clearing out the understory, making it cleaner. There's a lot of vines, and brush, and all that. It could be hell on dogs chasing cripples through a big briar patch. So
sure.
Definitely just make everything a little bit easier. I guess more aesthetic too.
Can I chime in?
Absolutely.
Can I chime in with a little shameless plug for SEMO and Shane and Kyle? I've been all over the place, and I don't mean that arrogantly or as a flex of any kind, but I've seen a lot of different setups. And I think the coolest thing about what Shane has going is he spread his stuff out enough to where he really, really is able to manage pressure. And for folks that aren't familiar with kind of how farming for ducks works, you can have all the food in the world, but the second or third time that you shoot them over that food, it's not the same as the first time you shoot them over that food. And so kind of probably the most important part of actually managing for ducks or managing for multiple quality hunts is the ability to spread out the pressure so that you're not constantly picking on the same ducks. And I mean, that's what I was the most impressed with about what you guys have going on, and what Shane's kind of mastermind is. He's able to just kind of leave something alone for a week and then boom, pop in there and pick on those ducks, and then, leave them alone for a week and then boom, pop in over there. And that's something that's very, very rare in the outfitter world. When you're not like chasing fresh feeds in Canada, I'm not really comparing it to that. Yes. I'm comparing it to basically everything in the U.S., the Mississippi, Central Mississippi Flyway. I mean, not many people have that. And honestly, the few people who do have that don't have enough self-discipline to actually use it to their advantage.
Sure.
They just droop the barrel, and then screw up the next group's hunt. And so I'm rambling now, but I will say plug for Shane and the SEMO operation. There are definitely nicer places to sleep, although there's nothing wrong with the sleeping accommodations. But when you get there and you see the way that it works, if you don't have a serious amount of respect for the way that they handle pressure and habitat, like you probably ought to go somewhere else.
Oh, for sure. I kind of like people ask me all the time about it. They're like, what can I expect? Like new guys coming, whatever. And I tell them, I'm like, we are in the business to kill ducks effectively and efficiently. And like you said, I mean, you can go somewhere that's a 4 or 5 star lodge and they're going to have cocktails for you waiting after the hunt and they're going to have dinner ready at this time and all that. And, you don't talk to your guides until it's the morning of, and it's, you're running through there like cattle. To me, like that's a hospitality business. Like we are.
Yeah.
And there's a place for that.
Well, and
It's fine. That's fine. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I tell them, I said, we are the, maybe the best in between of the two, right? Like we have a nice lodge. I mean, each group gets their own private room. You got your own bathroom, your TV, all this stuff. We've got a big common area, a nice lodge that you can sit there and drink cocktails on the front porch and you can watch the ducks come in the evening.
Yeah.
But like when it's morning time, you get your coffee and you get on that tractor and we take you to your pit. Like it's game time. We're not purists. We're not snobs of it. Like we're going to get our ducks in the hole and we're going to kill our ducks. And for me, I'm going to kill the first 6 a guy that I can and get back to the lodge as fast as possible so that if we have to, we can do it again, that same hole the next day. And for, 58 more days after that, 9 more days, and it shows. I mean, we kill a lot of ducks, but it's like you're hunting with our friends though, honestly, because we cut up with everybody. We joke around with everybody, try to make everybody feel like they're there. It's their hunt. And just have a good time and show them the best it can be, I guess.
My only complaint from our time was we went to the spot that you thought mallards were going to be instead of the spot that you knew that spoonbills were going to be. And, I do kind of feel like we got sandbagged on. We could have done a little bit more trigger pulling and a little. But yes. I mean, I'm not complaining.
Yes. Oh,
we need to redo for that bootlet beatdown.
6-man of spoonies. I'm gonna take it, and I'm running back to the lodge. Best believe I'm gonna be at the diner before they quit serving breakfast.
I say, we'll get to the diner. We'll get to the diner in just a second. I'll say the first morning on the way to the pit, I knew it was our kind of people. Kyle was driving the tractor. We're riding the trailer, headed to the pit, and Corn, your dog, was running along next to us, and he kind of like took off through the corn. Corn took off to the corn. I don't know what that's funny to me. But anyway, so he ran off for a second. And he came back and he had dadgum coot in his mouth. And I was like, this is about to be a place. And then, sure enough, we had a pretty darn good shoot that morning.
I can't confirm, but I probably said another successful hunt, honestly.
I was like, we're off to a good start.
Yes.
All right. So now you got to it quick. So I'm not going to say this is the best thing about the operation, but the diner absolutely slaps.
Yes.
So
yes.
To give the people a little teaser, even if they're not going to SEMO, which you should. If you're just driving through.
Yeah. So, it's you can put on Google where we're at. I mean, it's not like I'm giving any secrets. We are in Southeast Missouri. We're based out of the town of Advance. The closest place to us is the Duck Creek public hunt area for Southeast Missouri, right? Very great place to hunt. Gets a crowd of people. Those people all know about it. There's a town right between Advance and right between where Duck Creek is. And the town is called Arab. A-R-A-B. And there is one thing in the town of Arab, and it is the Arab station. They have gas. I'm pretty sure at one point in time, could be a wives' tale, they sold, they were the top list of per capita beer sales for Anheuser-Busch during deer season. And they also have a diner that serves breakfast until, I want to say it's 9. It might be 9:30, whichever one it is. It's not a second later. It is.
When it cuts off, it cuts off.
Yeah, you don't even ask. And then they serve other food the rest of the day as well. It's very unique, special place, the Arab Diner, right? So it's the same people working there every year. I can't help but think that place is mostly afloat because of duck hunters. and the staff isn't very friendly to most of them.
I would say, yeah, that was kind of the scuttlebutt, right? Is they're not a big fan of the duck hunters.
No, I remember I've got a picture of it in my phone somewhere. It's like towards the end of the season, and their daily menu or their daily special whiteboard, it said like 5 days left till duck season's over, thank God, or something like that. I mean, like, you walk in and they'd be like, it's more duck hunters. I mean, they're not very nice. So I just like to, kill them with kindness.
Yeah.
Really smooth them over. And no, they're good. I mean, just great gas station diner food, I guess, if you can put those words together.
Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of like how everything tastes good when you go camping. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, anything in that diner tastes good after a good shoot in the morning.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's, they do have pretty good biscuits and gravy, but I'm kind of partial to biscuits and gravy. And I think it's hard to completely ruin it, but it's also hard to be like really good. And then there's just this whole middle ground of biscuits and gravy that I'm still going to eat no matter what. So I'm going to say they're good biscuits and gravy.
All right, you heard it here. If you're driving through, stop by the Arab station.
Arab station.
Don't tell them you're a duck hunter. Just kind of fly under the radar, but
yeah,
but give them a shot.
Yeah, I haven't spent much time in there when it's not duck season, so I don't know how the.
Ooh, that'd be a good test. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know. I don't know. Maybe they probably hate farmers in the summer.
I say you should go in like very obviously dressed as a deer hunter, like an all blaze orange, and just see if their attitude changes.
Oh, probably. It's deer season. I can do it in the middle of summer. Go in there. Don't be that guy that wears your waders in there, but you could go in there and wear your waders and see if they get all riled up in July.
So we only got to hunt together for a couple of days. I'll say the last day we were there, we went to a spot. I don't know if you want people knowing which spot's what, but it didn't matter to me. We went to a spot, just a couple of us, and it turned into a classic gentleman's shoot, if you will. I mean, it was one of those days where like the ducks wanted to be in there, and there really wasn't anything that we could do to keep them out of there. I mean, we could have stood on top of the pit and just like waved our arms and yelled at them, and they still would have kept on coming. Oh, and so we were taking turns, just going down the line. Singles pairs coming in. So guy on the left would shoot, guy in the middle would shoot, and I was on the far right side and I'd shoot. So we had one bird left to be done. Kyle was on the other end of the blind and said, all right, Chris, you're up. I said, all right, well, I just was joking. I was like, man, I need you to set them on the water right here in front of me. Cause I was like, man, I don't want to screw this up in front of these fellas, whiff on the last green head. No pressure. And so, I mean, 30 seconds later, 45 seconds later, birds start working again. So we call. And Kyle says, kill him right there, Chris. So I pop up out of the hole, and sure enough, that joker landed right where I pointed, right in front of my shoot hole. So I've got on video of us yelling at him, trying to flush him off the water before he met his demise. But I'll say that was one of the funniest. Say, hey, you got to put him right here, and you sure enough did. Yeah.
I will say that was 100% Chris's choice to jump it up off the water. If it was me, I already won. You're getting it right there.
Listen, if it hadn't been you and Lane, like if it had just been some good, I've got no problem, sluicing one if I need to.
Yeah.
No, at that point we've won. But
yeah, absolutely. I've had some guys like that come through, and I remember the hole that's like right off my favorite hole. It's right off the front of the lodge called the Horseshoe Slough, and I took them in there. And it's an old oxbow, the way the river channel used to run. It's maybe 45 yards apart at the widest, but it's literally a horseshoe of trees, willows mostly, and then it's corn in the middle that's been harvested, but it's water, but it opens up to the northwest, right? So it stays dark in there for forever. Well, unless it's super sunny and clear, sometimes you can get by with it. I had this group in there, and these ducks were coming in hot and heavy early. And so like you can see below the tree band and you can see above the tree band. Water or getting out, they're high. And these ducks will come in, I'm like, shoot them there. Like, oh, we don't shoot them on the water. We don't shoot them on the water. I'm like, you're going to have to shoot them on the water because I don't know that these ducks are going to be doing this by the time the sun breaks the tree line. And they're like, no, we don't do that where we're from. What the heck? I'm like, I do. I'll shoot them. I said, how about I shoot one on the water, and as soon as they get up, y'all start shooting them. And they're like, okay. So it was like teal and spoonies that day. So I'd shoot one here on the left, and they'd get up, and they'd boom, boom, punching holes in the sky, and they'd kill maybe one as they're getting out in the dark. And finally, they were like, yeah, we can't see them once they get up. I'm like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. And so like, we've already won. I've done my job as good as I can do my job. If that duck sits there in them decoys, shoot it. Like, please don't like intentionally shoot my decoys.
Sure.
Shoot around them. But like, you can shoot them on the water. It's okay. I promise you. Well, we go back. We ended up shooting our ducks in there. Well, the next day, we're hunting actually the exact same spot we hunted in the A-frames.
Yep.
Levee. We're hunting layout lines. And the first few groups of ducks that morning are ringnecks. And they go, phew, they rip through. They turn and they come. They sit down in the hole. And I dang near couldn't even call the shot. Them dudes would get up and roach them things right on the water. And I'm like, you wouldn't shoot teal on the water. And I had to like really push you to even try and do that. But like, here come these ringnecks, and they're just like pounding them right there on the water. And like, those are divers. We love divers. I'm like, what the heck? So then at that point, I'm like in this weird spot. Like, do I tell them? I mean, they're ringnecks. I mean, they are divers, but they're ringnecks. And then I'm like, or do I let them just have the time of their life? And we shoot our ducks and get that
and get out of there.
And so I was like, heck yeah, man, that's awesome. Get them. And so, we piled up some ringnecks and I think we shot our 4 or 5 man, and it was like almost exactly half ringnecks and half mallards. And they were just so jazzed. They got to shoot some divers. Weird, the different perspectives.
I say, so without singling them out, like what part of the country were they from to get that jazzed about? Up north?
Yeah.
Big diver hunters up there.
Maybe. I don't know. But I would think they would shoot better divers. Maybe if there are better divers.
Spence, before we get too far away, what's your opinion on Arkansas and one on the water?
I don't shoot ducks while they're swimming. I let them stop.
That's right.
Shoot, man. There's not a more ethical shot in the book than shooting a duck on the water. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, I promise you. If there's going to be a hunt that's made to go try and find that cripple that you shot at 25, 30 yards getting out, when you shot on the water, he's on his back pumping for the brakes. Like,
yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it makes me look way better too.
Yeah, the only way to make a water swat more ethical is to shoot him with lead. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah, I'm excited over the next couple of years. Start getting to go to some youth hunts, like taking the boy out, like little girl out, and where it's not quite as judged if they sluice one. But yeah, I've got no problem with it. Now, if one totally swims in, like you don't see him come in, he's way off to the right and swims 100 yards, and all of a sudden pops up in the decoys. Like, I'll probably flush that one. But if I work them all the way to the water,
no. The only thing I'm doing different is I'm gonna say to somebody that's with me, hey, look at that one that just swam in. Do you want to shoot it? versus shooting.
Yeah, get him now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I wasn't joking either. Like when I grew up hunting, my first duck had to be on the water, and I had to have one shell in my gun. My next duck had to be on the water. Then I could try shooting one, jumping it off the water in the air. Then it got to then you just develop this, you're comfortable with it kind of thing. And that's the exact same thing I did with my little brother. And it's like, I mean, I don't understand the negative feelings behind shooting one on the water. I mean, I'm not too proud. I promise you that.
Yeah. I mean, every now and then I'll see like a comment on social media talking about it, or like somebody post a video, and there'll be somebody that'll be like, oh, it's not legal to shoot them off the water. Like and I was like, was that ever a thing? Like, or is that just wives' tale, sporting thing that got passed down? Like, oh, we just don't shoot them on the water. Or was that really a rule at some point?
Where I grew up, they called it Arkansas. That's I don't know. I don't know if that was a law. I mean, maybe they should. I don't know. I don't know. I can't imagine that would be a law, but tree topping on this.
Yeah. I will say
I've never heard of that being a law. Although I could see a world in which there was a time when I can see a world in which they, right after punt guns or something like that, in the market days, that they considered shooting them on the water like market hunting or something. But I've never heard nor seen actual proof of such a concept.
Yeah, and I mean, there's all kinds of, sporting guidelines that are just like, it's like family rules playing cards, or a board game, whatever. Like, you don't shoot doves out of a tree, or like you don't shoot doves off the power line, or like, you know what I mean? Some of those things where it's like some people don't care, and some of it's a lot more. Oh, we don't do that.
You don't shower when it's lightning. That's probably Paul the same thing.
Can't swim within 30 minutes of eating that peanut butter and jelly, or you're drowned. Yeah. The world's gonna end if you get in that pool. I don't know how all the parents had that same rule, but
you're going to jail if the freaking dome light's on.
Or we're gonna crash the car. Like every dad everywhere. If that dome light turns on, the car's gonna crash.
Yes. I never understood.
Hey, now, as a guy who's got really poor vision and only poor vision in one eye, I can tell you that when neither one of y'all have enough kids yet to be blinded by the rear lights. So
my kids can't reach the light switch yet. So
yeah, don't be shaming that too bad, because when you're driving home in the middle of the night and the kids reach up and turn the dome light on, I understand why Dad's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Quite honestly, it's probably because every dad out there is tired of having to drive for everybody else, so everybody's sleeping, and then like it's just like it's a great opportunity to just really lay the hammer down and be like, hey.
Yeah, all that pent up anger, and it's like you just want the kids to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Like,
oh no doubt.
Well, Kyle, I know it doesn't feel like it this week, but it's about fall time. We're sniffing at it. You got early season plans? I know you don't care about geese. Like, y'all chase teal out there, or what y'all got?
Yeah, so typically this time I'm either inbound or already up to Canada. Past 2 years, last year and then this year, have been able to go back up there to work with the expansion of my own business. So like this time of year is like, it is fall time for me. Like it's when things start getting serious. There's some guys that do some teal hunting out here that I'll go if I see some, whatever. But I guess what you could say, my wife and I bought some property last year, had a little dove shoot on it for the opening day last year. Small group. It wasn't really crazy amount of birds out there, nothing. This past year, I went in knowing I wasn't going to be able to be in Canada. I was going to be here for it. Planted 6 acres for the dove to try and have a little better success. And there's some birds out there right now.
Okay.
It's pretty impressive, actually. Honestly, I don't like it's dove hunting. It's fun for a little bit and then go grill and all that. But it's like, Georgia kind of seems to be like this huge dove hunting thing. Like I take a lot of guys dove hunting that are from Georgia, and it's like they love dove season. Dove hunting out here is just as big. I mean, you'll get guys that'll have parties of, 20, 30, 40 people, 50 people at their house, like locals, and they'll go surround fields and they'll shoot a pile of dove, and it's just like an all-day cookout. It's like another holiday out here. And like a lot of those guys are guys that don't hunt at all year round. I don't like that big stuff like that because it's just kind of a pain and a hassle, and it's not very safe. But like to be able to host a few close friends and family on like some dirt that I own, like it's pretty cool. It's kind of
Chris. Let me interrupt you quick.
Yeah.
Chris, just to recap. Just to recap. Kyle just said he has doves right now.
Right now.
Do you know what is between you and Kyle? Me. That's what's between you and Kyle. So pick me up and I'll pay the gas the rest of the way.
Hey,
well, let me just say when. This. In true dove fashion, there's a rain chance Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a front moving in. So I'm not holding my breath. But as it sits right now, it looks pretty promising. But
okay. Hey, in true dove fashion, I would love to crash your dove hunt.
Hey.
With 3 people
Absolutely. I mean, it's, we go out there and kill 5. That's cool.
We need a truck full, a pile of dogs, and we're on the way.
Yeah, bring all your chocolate labs.
Hey, don't talk bad about them brown ones.
No, it's fun. You kind of host that and get out there. I'll take the grill and cook some breakfast and just hang out.
Are y'all a morning opener?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like the only place, isn't Georgia like a noon or something like that?
Basically, it's just you guys and Arkansas and Mississippi both are morning openers, but Tennessee, Georgia, I want to say Alabama and South Carolina, they're all noon openers.
Is that just on opening day or every day you shoot in the morning?
Yeah. No, just opening day.
Why?
Because, I don't know why. I have no idea. I know that the states where it's a noon opener are always states where it opens on September 1st, so it kind of doesn't matter what day of the week it is. It's September 1 is the opener. And I always kind of thought it was because of that. You know what I mean? It was just sort of like, hey, it doesn't matter what day of the week it is. It starts at noon. That way, if it's a Monday, everybody can go get a couple hours of work in before they start shooting doves. A lot of the states where it's a morning opener, it seems like they always open on Saturday. So I always figured that's why it was, but I'm sure there's a fancy biological reason.
Man, I think it's just a social thing. Like I think in the South, because it was like the kickoff for fall, like everybody would just get together, have like a big big lunch. And I was like, all right, we're going to the field. And it's like, you weren't starting hunting until middle of the day anyway. It's just like, carry over.
That's like teal hunting at freaking 9 o'clock. No thanks. I'll stay home. Like I want to be there right off the rip and then be done with it. Like I don't know if I'd like a dove hunting midday, especially here. It's hot.
Yeah, there's a little piece of public ground near me that it didn't open when everything else opened. It opened like after. So everybody hunted private, or that had private hunted private on opening day, and then everybody went to this public piece, and it opened in the morning. And I remembered why I don't go to public during dove season, and it was absolute circus.
Dude, I saw a video the other day on, I don't know what it was on, Facebook, something. And it was like, you think the Arkansas...
was it the foot race?
For doves.
For doves. Spence, have you seen this video?
Oh, dude, I'm talking every dude with a sled truck had one spinner and like a pair of Brooks on, and they were sprinting. And it looked like a parade of clowns.
So we have some pretty good public dove hunts in West Tennessee. And it's that way here. It opens at noon, and so like at 4 or 4:30 a.m. there'll be a warden that unlocks a fence, and it'll be a race to it. In my younger, much more mad at them days, we really enjoyed that race and stuff, because you could, even if you had your own dove field, you could count on the public dove field was going to be good the first hunt, because I mean they weren't writing themselves tickets, and it was usually baited up like to the hilt. But it would be packed. I mean, packed. I grew out of that like 20 years ago.
I've never seen anything like that. I promise you that video I saw was worse than any boat race video I've seen.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm talking about the same one, but it was like 200 people running down a 2-track road, all trying to get to the gate. Man, it was so funny.
Oh, man.
I've done some dumb stuff for ducks, but I've never done that for a dove field.
I can't imagine. No. I'll go play pickleball or something. I'm not doing that.
So I think you said got a Louisiana trip planned. You gonna go shoot teal birds down there?
Yeah, man. I've always wanted to try it. I had this group of guys come in last year, and they duck hunt with me, and they're from Louisiana. And we'll back up. Like when I guided here, a large portion of our customers came from Louisiana. I love everything about that place. Every person I've ever met, I mean, they're different, but they're genuine people. The food, I'm very food motivated. I love the food. So I would always tell everybody Louisiana is my favorite place I've never been. And so I was telling them that, and after their stay, they were like, "Oh, you're coming down. So I'm going to go down with them mid-September, go try and shoot some teal, which I wanted to do that for forever. And just so happened that the guys that came up, one of the guys there guides for an outfit down there that I've actually followed for quite some time that kills the snot out of them. So I booked a day with them, and we're going to do that. I'm going to tag along with them. We're going to go shoot some gators. We're going to eat some good food and absolutely get annihilated by mosquitoes.
Yeah, I bet it's going to feel terrible.
Yeah, I think now that actually you say that, I need to find where my thermocell is
and order 2 or 3 more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Start soaking your stuff in Promethan right now.
Yes.
You're wasting your time. Mosquitoes ain't afraid of any of the preventative measures you got up your sleeve.
You got to at least try. Have you done the Gulf Coast teal, Spence?
I've never done the Gulf Coast teal, but I've done a bunch of redfish and things like that down there. I've always said I was going to go do it, but I never got around to it. That's a really busy time for us. You know?
Oh, for sure. It's always kind of intrigued me because, like, where I grew up, what I've known of teal hunting, it's over, like, in the first 30, 45 minutes, right? Like, you're either going to get them or you're not. They're not going to keep flying. But, like, I've always seen these Louisiana posts, and they talk about their afternoon blinds. Or, like, and those book up faster than the morning blinds do. And it's crazy to me. Like, I can't wrap my mind around that. Like, teal hunting. And first of all, I don't even really like afternoon duck hunting anyways. But I can't wrap my mind around teal hunting in the afternoon. But apparently something happens. There's just so many of them down there. They're plentiful. I don't know. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I've never done like the Texas, Louisiana, that section of the Gulf Coast. But there's a spot in Florida that we hunted. A buddy of mine took me out there when I moved down, trying to figure out the teal game down there, because early season's so crazy in Central Florida. I mean, they're here, then they're there, then they're gone. Yeah. But this spot is literally, like Gulf of Mexico, mangrove tree, like then these little holes, and people. You go catch all the redfish you want in some of these holes. Literally right on the Gulf, like So like you're launching your boat in the Gulf and running these spots, and this kind of plays like. You may shoot them at first, like your typical, like what you see in your mind for a teal hunt, right at shooting light, buzzing around, or you might not see a duck. And then all of a sudden at 11 o'clock or 1:15, it turns on and there's thousands like migrating south, and they're just pit stopping in these little, little potholes on the Gulf. And it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Are you sitting there from sunrise till 11 o'clock not seeing anything?
There's some days. There's some.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But what else? You go out there to the whole like bring your fishing pole and fish while you're waiting, and then like if it turns on, it turns on. If it don't, like I got to leave early. But
that's cool. I guess if it gets hot and heavy like that, the fishing would definitely offset it.
Oh yeah, and you don't have now. We'll say the tides out there will get you too. So there's some days you have no choice but to sit there and wait for it to come back. Yeah, or park your boat somewhere else and walk. But yeah, I'm jealous. I'd like to go see that Louisiana early season. It seems like it's a really special place.
I will say I love Louisiana. It's a cool state. And one of the honest reasons why I've never done the teal thing is just because the times I've been to Louisiana, it's always been like August, late July, August, we split redfish or catch trout and stuff. And so it's kind of just one of them things, like it's hard to turn back around and go do it again. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it is. I love Venice. Venice is such a cool place, and the culture and just kind of, I don't know, the whole thing. It reminds me of Black River when I was a kid. The way all those camps are fashioned right there. Yeah. So
Black River when you were a kid, that sounds fun.
It was great. It was great. It was great. We could hunt Shane Gardner's farm if nobody cared about it back then.
That's right.
Oh, you weren't on the call yet. Kyle said earlier that you could hunt at Shane's place whenever you wanted to, Spence. Kyle gave you the green. Kyle gave you the green light.
Yeah.
Lifetime member.
Yeah, I've heard that before. You know, the problem now is I would have to. He's saying that because he knows I'm not going to be up there. I would have to be up there to take him up on that.
That's exactly right.
I'm going up there only if I'm invited and I'm hunting with Kyle. I'm not going up there any other reason.
That's right. Coming up to draw the short straw.
I had a really good question. Oh, I know what I wanted to change topics for 1 second on you, if I could, Chris.
Yeah.
Kyle is one of the few people from out of town that has attended the last couple of golf scrambles in a row. And I'd like to get Kyle to tell the world how much fun he had at the Rolling Thunder golf scramble.
Man, that's a blast. I absolutely love everything about that trip. I look forward to it every year. Like, I love to golf. I'm not great at golfing. I love to golf, I love to talk with like-minded guys. And I guess if you can call it I hate to say industry, like an outdoor.
Oh, it's a networking event. Come on.
Yeah. It's probably like the coolest thing that happens in the off season based around hunting. Like, it is a fun time.
Oh, I love it. That needs to be the teaser clip for this episode.
All right. I'll clip it and send it to you.
Even if
talk about your love, Jordan Davis and Shin Gear, we're cooler.
That's right. I mean, Film Fest is pretty dang fun, but I can't really play golf while I'm there.
Hey, it's only a half a day, and you've turned the Rolling Thunder Scramble into like a solid 2.5 day long bender. I mean,
it is the Rolling Thunder crab cake party with the side of golf. That is exactly what it is, and it is, man. I love it. I'm already ready for next year's, and if we could fit a few more in, I'd even be happy with that.
I love it.
I'm actually sad that I'm going to be in Louisiana during the ESOD Fest, and there is talks of a random draw 2-man golf scramble that I'm not going to attend.
You know, well, surely you don't start hunting until Saturday the 14th, do you?
No, we're driving down on the 14th. I know. I've already looked.
You can make it. You got plenty of time.
I've already looked.
I was going to say the morning of the 13th works. I mean, just go ahead and break the drive up in half.
Oh, yeah.
The problem is you've had.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the problem is you've had so much fun the last couple of years with the golf scramble that if you tell Stormy you're adding a day to the trip and you're breaking the drive in half, I mean, she's going to see right through that. Like, there's no.
Without a doubt. I was going to say, my non-paid spokesperson review of the golf scramble is coming from a group of guys that our spider web comes from anywhere from 7.5, 8 hours away to 17 hours away just to come play a day.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is pretty fun. I love the fact that y'all come from so far around and it's kind of your summertime gathering spot. I mean, that does make me happy.
Oh yeah.
And you guys are on a really short list of people who've actually slept in the shop. So I give you a lot of kudos for that because last year's golf scramble, they were like, "Hey, Spence, you got anywhere we can stay where like drug dealers and crackheads don't hang out in the parking lot all the time?" Like, man, y'all sleep in the warehouse. There's no air conditioning. My gosh, they did.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we had a room booked that I think we had to book it like 24 times to get a whole day's worth because I think they book it by the hour. And I was so glad to give that up. And I'm not gonna lie, I never even checked my credit card statement or my bank statement to see if they refunded my money when I told them I wasn't coming to stay there. And if they didn't, I'm okay with it because I'm not in on that. And yeah, sleeping in the shop, I didn't hate it. It was that was my world. Everybody was there to party at my house.
Yeah, we have a hilarious but short list of people who have actually slept inside the shop. We have a short list of people who slept outside the shop too, but the inside the shop list is limited to basically like y'all and Drake Levy and Drake and Lauren. Actually, something happened at their house, and they didn't have air conditioning or something. They brought a queen size air mattress up here and slept in the front room of the shop for like 4 nights. It was hysterical.
I think I need to sign the wall or something, I guess.
Yeah.
Put your mark where your pillow was.
I know where the spare key's at. That's
Yep. You and a lot of other people. People are always like, man, are you worried somebody's going to break in? I'm like, have you seen this town? Like, if you broke in and you got away with it, man, more power to you.
Yeah.
You're going to get caught in a hurry.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's the scramble's big fun, and it's a great cause, so it makes it just that much better.
That's right.
Maybe Chris can actually play in it next year.
Maybe we'll have to come out of retirement.
I mean, hey, I don't know how much you want me to say, Spence, but our little playoff deal,
Oh gosh, yeah.
might have been the best thing about the whole entire scramble weekend of any scramble events ever. That chirping and watching for the A fly first place playoff was so much fun. And I know 4 people that it wasn't fun for, but everybody else had the time of their life.
Yeah, that was a pretty memorable walk down 18.
Yeah.
Or hole one, whatever it was.
Yeah, hole one. That was that was better than probably any PGA Tour event could ever be. It was
the vibe, as the kids would say, was pretty lit.
The vibes were immaculate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you never know.
And we even had somebody jump in the pond, and celebrate.
Yeah, I heard something. I look at the dude swam up the other side right next to me. Yeah. After I was telling Walter he could keep his $100, I really didn't need it out of the bet.
So if folks need a sneak peek of what the Rolling Thunder Golf Scramble is, they can come on out to the BSOD Bonanza here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Spence, I've had, I don't know how many people message me ever since that email blast went out, asking for details about the BSOD Bonanza. Is there any information, anything new that you can give the people, or do they just need to stay tuned and show up?
Definitely stay tuned and show up. I can tell you that we're going to have 12-ish batches of never before seen BSODs. Some ideas that I had back in the day that I never could figure out exactly how to bring to life. We've brought to life. So that's going to be pretty cool. We're also going to do, a lot of people have been asking about this cut your own contest.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be pretty neat too. It's a little, we're not really necessarily opening that up to the whole world, but if you think you can cut a call and you want to participate in that, shoot us a message and we'll kind of get you in the loop. But basically, if you're a red-blooded male who claims to be a call cutter, you're already included in that contest, and you'll be getting something packaged in the mail here before long. So it's just kind of we'll let some more details out of the bag about that in due time. But yeah, bunch of different BSODs. We'll have some new apparel. Big calling contest, paying out $5,000 for first prize as the individual again. Paying out $5,000 to the winner of the 2-man cut down. So yeah, a lot of good contest vibes and quality judges. I'm very proud of Drake Levy, and he has put together yet again a really good panel of judges, and so I feel confident in saying that if you can blow a loud duck call and control it top to bottom, you probably gonna win our contest. Unless there's somebody else who can blow it louder and control it better. But great time. We're doing dinner on Friday night, dinner and drinks and live music. And then the after party on Saturday night will be a little more casual, but we'll have something for dinner, either pizza or something simple Saturday night. So we want you to come and hang out with us for the whole weekend.
Heck yeah. It's going to be a darn good time. There hasn't been a single event there at the shop, or there's a golf scramble or live at the shop or the grand opening call contest last year that people haven't had a blast. So if you don't have it on your calendar already, go ahead and pencil in the 13th, the 14th, and maybe even the 15th of September, depending on how wild you plan on being in Somerville, Tennessee. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, I need to bail out. Y'all are welcome to talk as long as you want to. But the boys are, believe it or not, the boys are still here. Not Drake and Riley. But the machine shop is still running. You already know Drake and Riley left at 4:53.
Yeah.
Got to get that round of golf in today.
That's right.
Yeah, actually, I think they're moving Riley into a double wide trailer.
Okay.
Which I think is the most Alabama thing Riley's ever done.
Oh, Roll Tide Riles, yeah.
Yeah, you could probably get a little more productivity if you put a simulator in at the shop.
Yeah, I doubt it. I mean, I know how much time they spend on the fake putting green and the shuffleboard table. It was kind of like elementary school. Like I had to put the ping pong paddles away and pick the pucks up off the shuffleboard table because they turned into some serious wagering after lunch. You know.
For the shop.
So, that's right. All right, I got to bail out. Y'all have as much fun as you want.
See you, Spence.
All right. Thanks, boss.
All right. See you.
Good stuff, man.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm excited. September's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. It's, my September is so booked full between. I've got, we're going to try and shoot some teal or dove this weekend, teal the following weekend with all the SEMO guides. The weekend after that is Louisiana. And then after that, I'm going to go up and fun hunt in Canada for a little bit at least.
Oh, heck yeah.
Go see the land.
You going with the group? Like, got some buddies going?
I'm going to go tag along with the guys that I work for up there and hang out and see it. I don't know. It's hard to not go up there. You know what I mean? Like, you go up there and it's just, like, when I'm in Canada, it's relaxing. It's fun. I tell everybody, it's God's honest truth, I could go up there and just be on scouting duty every day and be content with my time up there. Like, I don't have no complex about me. I don't have to be the one calling the shot, setting the decoys. Like, I could get my coffee and drive around and watch the world wake up. And I say, watch, study, whatever you want to say about the birds and try and figure them out, what they're doing, and be so content with it. It's like you get like a true fall up there also. So it's not like, here, like we kind of sometimes go from summer to winter. Like there's no like in between. You kind of get some of that transition up there and it kind of just changes. Like it's just a nice pre-season to the season here in the States, I guess.
It's on the old bucket list. I want to go see it.
No, it's when I was a kid in Southern Illinois, there was a guy that they grew up, they hunted around the area on the main lake and stuff. And he told me when I was in high school, he said, sell all your stuff and go to Canada once a year. He was like, you're going to kill more up there. And that whatever stint you go, then you will hear piddling around on these lake ducks. But like you'll see so much different stuff. You'll see ducks that work and react and respond, and you'll see geese and like just to the amount that you can't even imagine at times. Man, like I was like, oh yeah, whatever. I'm still gonna duck hunt every day. And like now that I've been up there and seen it, like I get what he's saying. Like to the average person, like most could be content with doing that. And there's a lot of guys that go up there and that's their water.
That's their trip.
Yeah, they go once or maybe some of them go twice a year. And if they don't get a weekend away from family duties or work duties or whatever to be able to go hunt here in the States, so be it. They've been to Canada. I mean, it's pretty special.
Well, one of these days, hopefully I'll get across that border and go see it.
Yeah, you can see the brown ducks.
They all been the same. Yeah. It's funny. It's funny how no one's a Drake purist once they cross that border.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. You get up there and they just want to kill them all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, whatever.
Wiping the eggshell still off their face.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I remember that first year I was up there, and the way the outfit I work for runs is we hunt Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's one group. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday is the next group. We don't hunt Sundays. So Saturdays, we don't have to scout that morning per se because we're not hunting the next day. So like we would go in on hunts together that morning, or some mornings, you'd sit in together for a little bit, then one would peace out and go scout. And I remember we're sitting there and there's some ducks coming, and just naturally me, I pull up and just start blowing my duck call. And Travis that I work for, he's like, go ahead, blow that duck call, get them in here. And I'm like, still just blowing my duck call. He's like, here, hold on, let me get them. And he just hits his remote, and the spinners come on, and the ducks are just like, I mean, it's silly. It's not hard. That's why I say, like, I could scout and be completely content, because when your homework's done right, it's not hard. It's not about being like hard or easy, whatever. It's like you do the right work and you get in the right places to put as many variables on your side as possible. Anybody can go sit in there and kill them, just like here in the States.
Yeah,
like,
it's the same thing here, just different scale, right?
Yeah. A good hunt. I always laugh at people who like will come in or they will say something about like anything based around tipping, or like tipping a guy better because you had a great hunt. 9 times out of 10, I could have not been in that blind on a good hunt, and y'all would have still killed them just as fast, just as easy. You know what I mean? The hard hunts, and like, that's when the guide actually works. But like up there, your work for me is studying, knowing where to be, where to set up, and then going in on the ducks or geese, whatever, and making it easy on everybody. Whereas like here, you might have to actually work at them or whatever. But like if you're on the X and you got everything figured out up there, it's a trained monkey could sit there, tell you to shoot. I mean, that's why I like just driving around. And you get to see a plethora of, like, I don't like big game, but you can, like, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been driving and there'll be like a moose running down the side of the road, like right next to my truck, and it sounds like a dang horse track, and it's just running right next to you. Or you see an elk, or you see, I mean, I've seen elk, moose, whitetail, and mule deer all in the same scout. Like, I mean, it's crazy. You never know what's going to happen. And the people are so nice up there.
But I've heard, I mean, not a single negative thing. Like it seems too good to be true for somebody that's never been or like never seen it, but it's like, there's so many birds. Everybody's so nice. Like there's so many places to hunt. You get to see so much. Like,
oh yeah.
It's like, all the checks are in the win column.
Yeah. And like
I guess the only negative is long drive.
Yeah. But I mean, even then, I guess you can get to see new country driving up, whatever, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool the way they handle like outfitters and zones and allocations. It's not too crazy, and for the most part, outfitters kind of work together up there, or like stay far away from each other to where it's not like an issue, like where you get all the. I mean, there's dudes in the States that fist fight over freaking ducks and geese, and like, what are we doing, guys? So you go up there and it's, kind of people stay to their loops, or they, if you see somebody else looking at the same birds, there's going to be more birds somewhere else. Let them look at those, go somewhere else, and then it just makes it, I don't want to say it's a perfect world up there, but
sure.
There's not the stress that there is like the stuff down here that you see.
Well, at the beginning of the episode talked about how much simpler it was, like when you were a kid, and everybody was nicer when expectations are lower. It's like there's no stress up there. It's like, hey, we're all here having a good time. We're not fighting over this one duck.
Yes, exactly. And I'm sure there's areas where that happens.
Sure.
I haven't really ran into it or nothing, so I keep my euphoria in my head, I guess.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah. Let it stay perfect in your mind.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, Kyle, I've eaten up enough of your time this afternoon, and I'm super jealous of your fall. Hopefully, you kick off hunting season well, shoot some dove birds on your own ground, and some Louisiana teal, and then go see some big sky, and
Yeah.
Should be a fun little stretch before you get to work.
No, for sure. Yes, I'll do that. And then October, I'll spray my yards and then they'll leave them alone for the winter. And then it's time to play. So I guess really all season will start at Film Fest. So that's a good kickoff to kind of start season and get things rolling. And
yeah. Shake a few hands, see some folks you only talk through social media for the rest of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Eat some good food, watch some great films.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's all good people there for the most part, and everybody's nice, and they're all there under the same like-minded reasoning, and time to everybody be friends. And then probably some of those people aren't friends once the season kicks off, but that's whatever, I guess.
Yeah, we'll be nice while we can.
Right, that's right. Absolutely.
Well, it's about cool enough here. I'm gonna take the old pup out and let him run a little bit and try to get some work in before our season kicks off. But
there you go,
man. Once again, super grateful for your time. Thanks for carving out a little bit of time to sit down and talk to us. And
no problem. I appreciate it.
Oh, dude, we'll do it again. We need to do an on location shoot. Find a good excuse to get up to Missouri, and we need to bring the setup. I'm working on a total mobile setup I can take to a blind or pit, and we need to
we can get down with that.
Get an episode out of that McGee blind all sitting there. So just let it live and just let whatever happens.
Oh yeah, that'd be big fun.
Yeah,
that worked out.
Yeah, big time. But well, hey, if you've made it this long, thanks for sticking with us, and hopefully we see you in a couple weeks at the BSOD Bonanza. To all our listeners out there, we will catch you on the next one.
See you.